Here's a quick rundown of my system, which I think I built like the best system I could think of. This is a high output off-grid system. I did it to cover everything that I need power-wise. So here's my panels on a 20 panel on this array right here. This one faces west, so it turns on around 12 o'clock. And this array right here is only a little less than halfway done. This one faces south, so that turns on around 9 o'clock and runs a lot longer than my west panel. So these are the Q cells. They look great. You kind of see the Q cells, they shine through. And as of right now, I've got 10 of these guys up, and I'm going to be building another 10, and then another 6 is going to go up there. So there's going to be 16 more, and that's going to run, the 10 are going to go to my inverter to max out my 2 MPP inverters, and then the other 6 are going to go to a mini split that runs off of DC, and that's going to cool and heat my house off of panels only. All right, so solar comes in, hits through those guys to the inverter, and the inverter's connected to the house. It's going over to this panel right here, and that's the panel that runs off of the transfer switches. These 2 transfer switches are hooked up to my whole house. I've got my panels on the back side of this wall, so I ran the transfer switches into the panel, hooked up every panel, every switch to a transfer switch, which you can see here, which is including my main AC, which is possible to run off of inverters, but you do need an easy start, which I'll get to that in 1 second. This is nice because at any time, if my system has a problem, an inverter goes down or something happens here, I can just come over here and pop these guys down, and you wouldn't even notice. It goes to the power company when these are down. And when you go back up, everything's in solar. So I like this hookup. I like this setup. It's probably not necessary, especially with the new EG4 inverters, because they have a whole switch that either goes to your power company or to your off-grid batteries. I like this one because at any time, if there's an issue, I can swap over to the power company manually if need be. So then it puts everything back to how it was when I bought the house, just by flipping this down. And this guy is the rest of the switches, which is the oven, dishwasher, and all that. Got the whole house. The whole house is running off-grid. And when I say off-grid, let me specify that. So these inverters are off-grid inverters. They do not have the capability of ever sending power back to PG&E or the power company. But it's not an off-grid system in the sense of, if I run out of power, if I get no solar and my batteries are dead, the inverters they're hooked up to the power company. So as soon as I run out of power here, it automatically switches back over to the power company, and it pulls power from the power company to power the house. So even though it's an off-grid system, it pulls from the grid when it needs power. I got it set up to where it pulls from my battery and solar, and the grid is the last choice for it to make to pull its power. All right, so then from there, I've got the transfer switches, and then also this box right here, small one, that's from the grid, and that's going to the inverters, powering the inverters when I need power and don't have any solar or battery. Next, and this is the 2 chargers that I have. One charger is hooked up to the power company, and that way I can power the car straight from the power company. This charger down here is hooked up to the solar system, my inverters. So I have 2 options of charging the car. I've got the option of dumping the solar right straight to the car at 8,000 watts per hour, or this one is 11,000 watts per hour, and that's from the solar company. So I try to, whenever my battery gets full, I'll just dump the power into the Tesla, because the Tesla has 80 kilowatts of power, and it's always looking for extra power. So that is that part of the system. All right, now here's the air conditioner, which does start from the MPP inverters. It will not do it without an easy start. The amp draw on this is like 80 amps starting, and it shuts the computers off, and it also trips the batteries. It's too much amperage to pull at one time. So I put on the easy start, which is amazing. The way that works is when this turns on, the fan turns on first, and that runs for about 3 or 4 seconds. And then when the compressor kicks on, it kind of like does like an anti-lock brake, power on, off really quickly. And it lowers the amperage on the start of this. So it lowers it down to like 30 amps starting, which makes my system able to run the air conditioner. And there's no better feeling than having the air running and your power meter's at 0, your car is charging, your house is all being powered, and you're pulling no power from the power company. So that's it. That's just a quick overview of what I consider to be like the best system that I could think of building. If you're interested, in doing your solar yourself, look into it, because it's totally doable. It's not that hard, and the payoffs are huge. Where I live, the power company is charging 62 cents per kilowatt at peak, and this system right now is making $500 to $600 per month. My power bill was in the thousand, like 800 to 1,100, which is, it's not normal. I don't try to save energy anywhere. I do use it like crazy. Tesla uses anywhere from 20 to 30 kilowatts a day. But this system has cut off hundreds, $500 to $600 off of its output every month. And I keep track of that. I don't want to get into that on this video, but I have the output per month of what these things make, how much they're putting out per month. So that's the video of an overview of my system. Okay, now we're logging into the inverters, and we're going to go to the current output at this moment, which is right there. It's 8,000 kilowatts and 19 kilowatts so far today. And we are probably running 4,000 per string. We're going to look at that right now. Log out of there, go into inverter number 1, and we can see 3,900 coming from an inverter, going into the inverter number 1 from the panels, and the house is at 57 watts, which is really low. So we're going to log out of there, and then we're going to go into inverter number 2. Inverter number 2 is bringing in 4,000 watts from the panels. The house is using 1,400 watts. And it shows down PV charging 1 and 2. All right. All right, now we're at our Renogy shunt. And this is going from the how much power is going into the batteries. And you can see in the bottom right-hand corner, it's 6,100 watts going into the batteries. We know that we're getting 8,000 watts from the panels. That means the house is using 2,000 watts. It's actually using 1,400 as we've seen, but the mini split is probably running and using the other amount of power. If you look at the top, it says 58%. And the bottom left-hand corner, it says 53.8 is the voltage. That will run until the voltage hits 56.4. And then after that, it will be at 100%. But we will prevent that from happening because we'll be dumping any excess power into the Tesla. That way I'm not wasting any power that's harvested. So in an overview, if you are interested in doing solar, do it yourself. There's nothing better than having your own power plant to power your home, getting energy straight from the sun, pretty much like out of nowhere, and using that to your advantage.
There's also no better feeling than being your own fuel station for your car, knowing that you will always have power coming in and a way to power your car. So this is one benefit of driving an electric car. You can harvest your own power, and you can not have to go buy gas. So if you're interested in doing solar, I highly recommend that you do it yourself. Look at Will Prowse's videos. It shows you how to make your own system, which is how I built all of mine, off of his videos. So long story short, do your own solar.